Hey, my name is Sebastian. In this video, I'm going to show you all the different ways you can use the golf box to work on your swing plane. So the first and most basic way to use it, you're going to need 2 alignment sticks and 1 foam noodle. No matter which way we're setting it up, we always need to start with an alignment stick on one of the bottom holes that matches the ground, because that one gives us leverage. Next, we're going to go and we're going to choose one of these 4 holes for swing plane. On the back side of the box, they're labeled wedges, irons, and woods. I'm going to stick to a pitching wedge for this entire video, so I'm going to go on the top hole first for this one. I'm going to make sure it slides through the bottom of the box. There's a matching hole in there that makes sure that it gets locked in tight. Then anytime an alignment stick can get hit in the downswing, I'm going to make sure that I've got a foam noodle covering it. Okay, so I call this the half plane board. Swinging over the noodle setup, you're basically going to make sure that your backswing stays on top of the noodle, and so does your downswing. And you're going to try to match it pretty closely. Okay, once you practice that a few times, step a little further away from the box, so hopefully that noodle and the box don't ever actually come into play. So that's basic way to set it up. As always, we've got other holes in here, so you can change the angle for different clubs. So that's a little flatter. This one's at 54 degrees, the other one is at 60 degrees. Then it goes down by 6 degrees. So this next one, right in between the irons and the woods, is at 48 degrees. And then the last one, the very bottom one, is at 42 degrees. Again, matching hole at the bottom for you to slide it through. Very solid when it's like that. You can also go ahead if you want, and from this camera angle you'll see that you can insert them into it at an angle like that. So it creates a little bit of a wider arc in the backswing this way. But again, basic way right here, wedge, top hole, matches, practice your backswing, staying right on top of the foam noodle. This is perfect for you if you have your takeaway goes inside a whole bunch, or your downswing comes in too far from the inside, so you come in like that. Next, we can use it actually on the other side of the ball. So now we're going to take this stick that's on the ground, and we're going to put it in one of the holes in the back so that we're not in danger of hitting it on the downswing. We're going to put the ball towards the front of the box. This one, I feel like you can get a little closer to the box with the ball. And again, now you're going to swing close to the noodle, but you're not going to hit it. Got all this room in here. This is perfect for you if your takeaway gets too far outside, or if you come way over the top in the downswing. Okay, you're going to hit this instead. So just take your time. Start with small shots, staying underneath the noodle. Okay, and if you want to get more aggressive, just go ahead and lean it more. So now you're a little flatter plane there, and a little harder for you to sneak it by on the downswing. Okay, so that's the 2 basic ways if you got 2 alignment sticks and 1 foam noodle. Next is our full plane board setup. So for this, take your first alignment stick, put it right in the middle of the box, in between the hole labeled stance width. Now you're going to need an extra alignment stick and a second foam noodle. We're going to go ahead, we're going to go wedges again, but we're going to angle it even more through one of the holes down here. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So wedges, angle through one of the holes, slide the foam noodle on top. And you can see why this is called our full plane board setup. It acts almost like a full plane board, just like the big wooden ones. Now my absolute favorite part about this visual is this idea of your hands in, club out. So from my perspective, what that looks like is when I get to here, my club head is on the top side of the foam noodle and my hands are on the bottom of it. This would be, now my hands are covering the foam noodle visually, and you can see where that's gone with the club. This would be hands out, club in, which you would have obviously smacked that noodle. But we want hands in, club out, so my club is outside of the foam noodle, my hands are inside, and then same thing on the follow through. My hands are inside the foam noodle, my club head is on the outside. A nice bonus of the plain board setup is that if you've got any extra alignment sticks, you can also use the hip sway settings at the exact same time. Backswing. Or downswing, or both. So even though you're using it as a plain board, alignment, ball position, stance width, you can also use the hip sway if you want that much. Now with that full plain board setting, we've actually built in a new feature to this Boks 3.0. Is these two holes marked 55 degrees. So now you can actually flip the box around and you'll have the flatter face closer to the ball, which is going to come really close to matching your shaft at setup. And so now that box isn't going to be in the way as much. So this is when you're using the putting side of the box, and you can see what my shaft looks like when I'm like that. But now we can spin it around. Box doesn't get as much in the way. Grab an alignment stick, middle hole, slide into the 55 degrees. Here we don't have a hole for it to go in the bottom of the box, but I like to just poke it a little bit into the cardboard. And then same thing on this side. Angle it, you're gonna stick it right on the edge, you just barely stab it through. Very solid. Now you got a little more room for your club shaft to swing in there, and you know you're at a 55-degree plane with it. Now what I really like about setting it up like this is if you've got a second box and we set up our gauntlet. As always, we've got an alignment stick right here for ball position and stance width. We can use the graphics on either side of the box to make sure we're consistent with that. We've got one alignment stick and foam noodle for a backswing takeaway, and we've got one for a downswing plane. And so what we're trying to do with this look is that in our backswing, we're going to go wide, and on top of this one, so you can see how my club head goes wide and on top of it, and then in the downswing, we're going to go narrow and underneath this one. Okay, so wide to narrow, steep to shallow, the two important patterns that we're looking for in the golf swing. Wide and over this one, to narrow and under this one. Okay, and since we've worked the 55-degree plane in here, you can see we've got a little more room on the under, and we should never really hit that on the way down, because if not, we're coming out really wide here and hitting that. So you shouldn't be in danger of hitting this one. And this one, if you're in danger of, this is exactly what you got to work on, is not coming way over it like this and hitting down on top of it. Now, if this scares you, you can always make it wider, as wide as you want. As always, it's hopefully just a visual training aid, so you just see exactly the path your club should take. Through here, through there. Okay, you know and get feedback as soon as you're too far off track. And if you want, you can obviously make it tighter and test your skills. Okay, so that's got about 2 and a little bit of club head between it. Now a dry drill I often give my students to do at home is called the groover. So basically I just say, let's put these really close together so that only about one club head fits through them. You can grab a ball, put it right here, right behind your club head, and you're just going to drag the ball back. We're just going to groove this takeaway. Ball right behind the club head, roll the ball back. Okay, you can see that the ball doesn't get offline, it doesn't hit the inside box, it doesn't hit the outside box, goes all the way back until it hits this alignment stick, and I don't hit either of these noodles. Again, this is just a dry drill, so don't hit balls with it, but just practice your takeaway like that. Wide, over that back noodle. You can even start the downswing a little bit and pump that. Alright, so that's a whole bunch of different ways to use the Golf Boks 3.0 to work on your swing plane and the backswing and downswing, get your takeaway cleaned up, and tons of different ways to set it up. Thanks for watching.